So, last episode we talked about the board of directors being your first line of defense. In today's session, we are going to talk about digital social media marketing. We see a lot of stuff on social media that really should not be there, can get you in tons of problem, definitely not mission aligned, just chaos. So we're going to talk about some of that today, right? And how that relates to your marketing strategies for your social impact business. So my name is Tracy V. Allen. I am a social enterprise consultant and impact strategist. I help social enterprises to design, build, and fund their social ventures so that they can maximize their revenue and their community impact.
I am Daphne Pettis. I am a social strategist, SOULCHIAL strategist, helping founders, nonprofit founders, with gaining clarity, helping them to actually make their vision plain so that they can walk out the vision for success and sustainability.
I think I was froze for a second, but I am, yeah, I was, wasn't I? I'm Ty Boone. I'm owner of Ty Boone Consultant. I am a nonprofit success strategist and a program development strategist. I help organizations move from startup and struggle to sustainability and success without the headache and hassle. That's what my marketing coach told me like a long time ago. And I was like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about, but I used it anyway. So I like that little thing. Now we're talking about marketing. Right here we go. Talking about marketing, Tracy. I'm gonna start because I'm already talking. Y'all's microphones on mute. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff out here that we see, in these nonprofit social impact streets. And it's wild. It's really wild. And I like when Tracy, when you introduced yourself, you talked about the fact you said strategy. You said that a couple times. Strategy. And a lot of times I see what people are doing. They're getting out here with absolutely none whatsoever, no strategy whatsoever, randomly doing things, hoping that somebody thinks it's marketing, and then thinking that it appeals to a certain audience. Now, when I talk to folk, and I know we sometimes use them interchangeably, but I talk about priority populations and target audiences, and I talk about them in a different vein. Like some people use them as the same. But for nonprofits, when I talk about priority populations, and I think they've even changed to a more politically correct term than that now that you call them, but I'm thinking about the people that you serve. And when I say target audience, I'm thinking about those people who you're wanting to serve you in a nonprofit because you're targeting them for support. You're asking them for sponsorship. Usually when you're dealing with your priority population, they're going to come. If you got it, if you're giving away food, I'm coming to get it. Somebody just needs to tell me that it's there, right? But if I want you to give me support, I want you to give me money, then I'm going to have to be classy. I'm going to have to show up where you are. I'm going to have to present myself in a way that makes, where's my mug? I don't even have it right here. That makes me worth funding, right? Be worth funding. And sometimes we won't do that because we're tagging 1,000 people on Facebook. We're popping up in folks' inboxes. We're halfway doing things raggedy. We're branding ourselves. And I see this a lot for nonprofit organizations. And I tell founders and executive directors, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you got your 501c3 approved and you're a nonprofit founder. But I don't want to go to your website and see a bunch of pictures of you. I don't want to see your glamour shots and you are an organization, a nonprofit organization, and you're supposed to be serving some people. And I don't see anything about the people. I always see you. That's not the effective way to do this, right? If you're serving people, you're making a difference. When I go to your website, I want to see what difference you made. I want to see what you're doing, who you're serving. I want to see something. Tracy and I talked, I think at the end of the year about end of year reports and having those things available on your sites and stuff. I want to see stuff like that because I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to give to you. I want to see statistics about what you're doing. I want to see how you're making a change in your community. But what we are seeing is folks go, okay, I got my 501 I'm looking for a makeup artist. I'm taking, I mean, nothing's wrong with that, but I'm saying if that's your brand, but you don't own this. You don't own the nonprofit. That's not your thing. That's not your brand. You're on mute, Tracy.
Okay. I totally agree with what you're saying, because I know that there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that when I used to strictly do nonprofits, they used to tell me, well, I want my accolades. I want people to know what I'm doing. I want people to know the difference that I'm making. I want to be on the local news, written up in a paper. So my strategy, or my answer for that is, if you work in and on your mission, staying mission aligned, the accolades will come organically to you. You don't have to go out there and showcase yourself as the organization, because again, you are not the organization. You are dispensable. It's a publicly owned entity. You don't owe it. You don't own it. So when you're showing up on social media, doing your digital marketing, I don't care what social media platform it is. So yes, you can come out and talk about the organization as the ED, founder, executive, CEO, whatever it is that you're calling yourself, like Daphne said last time, right? You can come out and you can definitely talk about the mission, the vision, and the values of the organization, the products and the services and the programs that you offer, how you're impacting the company. You can be the face in that way. It should not be I-centric, okay? It should be organizational centric, with you as a spokesperson for said organization. So like Ty said, it shouldn't be glamour shots of yourself all over the place. It should be shots of you actually doing the work, right? So if you're at a food drive, I want to see shots at you at the food, looking like you're at the food drive, not going to the club, right? So I'm just saying, because you see that sometimes, right? I always make the references that if you are afraid of the population that you're going to serve, or if you're not willing to blend in with the population that you're about to serve, you're in the wrong field. Okay, you cannot take your 5-carat diamond ring to the hood to give out food. That just doesn't work. You asking to get jacked, right? And they're gonna look at you like, what are you doing here? Like, we're not a pity party. You have got to get down close and personal with the population that you're going to serve. So when we look at your social media platforms and we look at your websites, that is what we're looking for. We're looking for, and the last thing that we're going to do is telling stories. We're looking for the stories that you have. Those are those success stories, those impact stories that you have of people who have gone through your organization and have done great things. They've changed your life. You've impacted them in some way. That they can go ahead and help to impact someone else, because impact is a trickle-down effect, right? It doesn't stop with the person that you help. That person should be so empowered that they now help somebody else, and they help some. That's how you change communities, right? So we want to see these things on your social media platform. We want to see the stories. We want to see the services that you're offering, the benefits of these services. We do not want to see you constantly asking for money. That tells me that you have no funding plan, no funding strategy for your organization, and you literally are out here looking like you're begging for $1, right? If every time I turn around you have a fundraiser, I am like, I'm not giving you my $1. I'm not giving you my $10, because either you're mismanaging funds in your organization, or you just don't have a funding strategy. It's just like, okay, well, we need $200 to do it. Let's go to social media and ask for $200. Like, you can't do that. When people look, so some people are going to make decisions, right, about who to give their monies to. They're doing a deep dive search. At least I am. I'm sure Ty is, and I'm sure Daphne is. We're going to look at months past in your social media, not the last week, because you just started revving up and doing something like what you should be doing because you knew you were going to come out and ask for this money. Your social media platform, you should have a social media strategy, marketing strategy of how you're going to come into this space to represent your mission and accomplish your vision.
So I guess my role in this is to speak to those passionpreneurs, as we call them. We know the ones who will say that I am the story of the nonprofit organization because I started it with the point that I went through whatever the service is. And so they will say that, I'm supposed to be on social media. I'm supposed to be the one telling the story. I get that. I understand that. However, you're not supposed to be the only one who is represented on on any platform. True enough, you as the founder, tell your story, but you should be telling your story in a way that actually connects with those who are a part of the nonprofit and those who are seeking to support the nonprofit. It shouldn't be like they say, glamour shots of you every 2 months, or as we see every week or so about what's that's not telling your story or telling the story of how you overcame whatever it is that the mission of your organization is, and to utilize those people who you are actually helping as a part of those success stories. You're not the only success story. And if you are the only success story of your nonprofit organization, then that tells something else totally different. And that's a different story for a whole different day. So, but, but
point, when you do come on and you're constantly telling your story and you're not allowing other people to tell their story, you're not showcasing other stories, it looks like you're the only success story of your organization. That is why you want to have a wide girth of people who are telling that story.
And that's not impact, right? Because if you're the only one benefiting, that's not
exactly
impact.
That's personal development.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's what that is. It's personal development,
right?
It's not an impact of your organization,
right? And we do get the fact that there are nonprofits that are actually starting, and it's okay to actually showcase that you are starting a nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. Somewhere, I think that starting nonprofit organizations have gotten the idea that they have to look like they got it together. Mm-hmm. So if you look like you got it together, who gonna help you? Mm-hmm. If you you look like you're lying, and it's just the honest to God truth.
You look like
you look like you're lying. So if you have the glamour shots and everything looks totally always together, and then you're out here saying that you're needing startup funds for this, people are looking at you like nothing. It's not connecting. It's not connecting. What you're saying and what you're showing is not merging together. So, as we say, tell the truth, tell the truth, and shame the devil, and it's okay. It's okay to be a startup nonprofit organization that is growing. That is the point. Nobody expects for you to, just start off and fly, but to actually show that progressive growth on social media would actually gain the traction that you need to actually grow your nonprofit organization. So don't be afraid to be that startup nonprofit organization that's actually growing. You don't have to have it all together right away, but show your progressive growth.
Yes.
I think we get caught up in the facades and we do it backwards. Like, it's one thing to come out and say, well, I'm a startup organization. This is the work we're doing. We're serving a couple people, and I have a couple of images of this to show, my digital blueprint, my footprint online. That's it. But then when you come out and you're like, okay, I'm the boss, and this is what the attitude is. I'm the boss, she boss, or whatever the hashtag people are saying these days. And so I have to glamorize all this stuff. This lets me know some things, especially if I see you the very next week asking for money to pay for your formation costs, asking for money to buy work books for your kids and your program. And I just saw you last week with a whole glamour show. This is how I know you don't have a board or you don't have a good board, because you had to pay for these glamour shots, right? And this is not about you. Why did you take the money that you had for the glamour shots to put it into the programs that you're trying to facilitate? Why did that money go? That didn't make sense. So you don't have anybody providing any kind of oversight to let you, or you don't have a good sense of management yourself, because this is not about you. The first thing that you're supposed to do is take care of that population that you're supposed to serve. So if you got an extra $500 laying around, you choose to go do some glamour shots instead of serving this community. And then you're going to go out on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you're asking us to help you pay the utility bill at the office. Doesn't make sense to me at all. It just doesn't. And when somebody is coming through your website, you never know who is visiting your website or your social, you never know who's coming by there. And they see this stuff. They see your behavior, right? They see what you're asking for money for. And then they start to develop distrust. It's like, okay, if every week they're, like Tracy said, if every week you're asking for $10, who's over there at that organization making sure the money goes where it's supposed to go? If they're still needing $10, does anybody know how to manage anything? If I gave you my money, if I gave you my $200 this week to help you keep the electricity on at your organization, next month, do you have a plan to pay for the electricity, or will we always be doing this? What's the deal, right? And some of that stuff, some of that internal stuff, just like, in your house, some of that stuff y'all need to take care of in secret. Nobody don't need to know.
Well, that's true.
You don't need to know about that.
But I think the bigger issue, though, because I just had an extensive conversation with a bunch of nonprofits. I think the larger issue in this is that someone told nonprofit founders that nonprofits were the floodgate to free, that they should give everything away for free. Nonprofits should not make money. They should not charge for anything. All the services should be given to the public for free. And in turn, they should get everything for free. So,
except the glamour shots, because they're going to pay for those.
Oh, I've seen people finagle that freely as well.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
I think that's why we're stuck, in this whole nonprofit poverty
mentality,
where we're like, okay, I'm going to give everything for free, so I have to get everything for free. Doesn't make, for just commonsensical to me that, okay, well, somebody got to pay for something. I said, I said, nothing's free but salvation, and even Jesus paid for that. We right, so somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah,
it may not be you, it may not be you directly, but if you're getting sponsors to pay for things, when they check you out, when they check out your website,
because they will
do it. You got to be worth the funds that they're wanting to give you, even if they're giving it to you. You grant applications all the time that says, we're not accepting unsolicited proposals, right? And folks are like, well, how do they find me? They know about you on social media. They hear people talking about you out in the community, how you're showing up, how you're marketing, those kind of things.
You're bored.
You're bored. Those things. When they get to see that you're serving on your website and you're feeding the homeless, and we actually see you feeding the homeless, and not you just sitting there smiling and saying, I feed the homeless. You don't have any other way to know. You didn't put any.
And I think it kind of goes back to what we talked about. And if you're interested, those who are listening, to go back and look at the live that we did on activities versus programs. It's also on the podcast, but we talked about activities versus programs, and I think that's where you're going with it, Ty, is that they're doing all these activities thinking that they're programs when they really are not. They're just activities to make it look like you're busy. Like when you were a kid and your mom's like, oh, you over there doing busy work, because you really ain't doing nothing. You just don't want to be bothered. So, so all right. Thank you for joining us for this session of Mission Impact. Next week, we'll be back with the next part of the series called Clients and Community Partners. And we kind of alluded to this in both sessions, but we're going to really dive deep into that. So stay tuned. We're always here. Wednesdays at 12. Bye.